recording. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for coming for today's strength class. Happy 1st of October. We only have one slide for our QFit waiver for the month of October. Again, we have the Beat the Trainer Challenge coming up. If you have any more questions, you can add yourself again to the Slack thread or go ahead and check out the Slack message that Coach Jenny put out. But week 1 will be burpees, and that will be the start. The program will start next week. So it'll be a live challenge at the very end of class. Again, week 1 will be burpees. So if you are participating, be prepared to do some burpees at the very end of class with Coach Jenny. I'll go ahead and stop sharing now, and we'll get right to it. All right, I'll go ahead and spotlight myself. Again, you'll need a pair of light to moderate dumbbells, a light to moderate kettlebell, a resistance band, and or a mat. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started now. All right, let's just go ahead and start with some nice and simple arm circles forward, as we are doing a little bit of vertical pressing today. So let's go ahead and get some movement here in our shoulder girdle. Again, we can progressively maybe bigger if you'd like. And then let's go ahead and go backward as well. Make sure that you keep your thumbs up. Again, feel free to make these a little bigger if you'd like. Let's go ahead and do some lateral arm swings now. We'll get one hand over the other, opening up our chest here. Again, as we are doing a little bit of a chest exercise and some upper body along with some core. Let's go ahead and just do some vertical arm swings now. Again, one hand, alternating every repetition. Let's go ahead and move into some lateral flexion of our neck. So go ahead, just go ahead and drop down that earlobe towards your shoulder. We'll do a couple repetitions on each side. And then let's go ahead and have our feet directly underneath our hips. We're going to go and just reach down and try and touch our shoelaces or the tongue of our shoes. And just make it nice and dynamic. Feel free to go ahead and kind of round your back if you like. Get some blood flow to your low back. And just making it nice and dynamic. All right, feel free to continue warming up, everyone. We got 3 intervals today, starting with a kettlebell swing or a Russian swing. We're basically going to take the kettlebell up to our eyesight today. So we will need our kettlebell, okay? So as a reminder, you're going to go ahead and start behind the kettlebell. You're going to go ahead and reach the kettlebell, grab it by the handle, tip it on its side, hike it to your glutes, and then we're going to go ahead and swing the kettlebell for about 40 seconds. Again, feel free to drop the kettlebell and rest and then re-pick it up. Totally up to you. Again, all we're looking for is a nice little bending pattern. We're not squatting. We're basically focusing on pushing our hips back and loading our posterior chain. After we finish, we're then going to move on to a dumbbell alternating strict press. We'll take the dumbbells, put them in the front rack, and then all we're doing is basically locking our elbows and pressing every repetition with our opposite arm. After that, we'll move into a band of pull-apart where we're going to go ahead and utilize our band and stretch it out, and then basically targeting our upper back. And then our last 2 movements will be a plank row. We'll be holding a plank with the pair of dumbbells and basically rowing on each side, and then we'll finish up with a loaded dead bug. Okay. Again, all these exercises can be modified. Just try and have fun. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the clock on. Again, we're going to work for 40 seconds. We're going to go ahead and rest for 20. We're going to go ahead and repeat for 3 intervals. Grab yourself a nice little sip of water. Set up your kettlebell. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. All right, let me go ahead and set my clock up. All right, everyone, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're working now. I got 40 seconds of the kettlebell swing. Make sure that you are right behind the kettlebell. Go ahead and bend here. Grab the kettlebell by the handle, tip it on its side, hike it to your glutes. And then let's go ahead and take the kettlebell for a nice little swing. Again, focusing on pushing our hips back, blocking out our knees, squeezing our glutes. Again, feel free to rest if you like. It is a pretty good amount of time that we are swinging here. So again, as you're doing this, you can also bend your elbows. You don't have to have your elbows fully locked out. We got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rest. That is your Russian kettlebell swing. Again, you will notice an increase in your heart rate because you are moving pretty dynamically. But nonetheless, this is a posterior glute hamstring, or what's called triple extension exercise. The next movement, we have dumbbell alternating strict press. So let's go ahead and grab the pair of dumbbells. Take your dumbbells to the front rack. Have a nice, good, wide base with your feet just outside of your hips. And then we're focused here on locking out our elbows. Again, having good range of motion. Got about 20 more seconds before we switch. Again, nice little 10 more seconds. Again, focusing on good movement quality. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rest now. Good job, everybody. Go ahead and let your arms rest. The next movement is we have our band pull apart. So go ahead and grab your resistance band. All right, I'm going to go ahead and have you go palms up. So that way we put our shoulders into external rotation. Go ahead and lock out your elbows. And then let's go ahead and take that band and pull it apart. Again, what we're focused on here is keeping tension throughout the range of motion. If you want to increase the tension, you can go ahead and have your hands closer together. But nonetheless, just try your very best to keep tension in the band. Don't let the band pull you in. We're looking to keep tension throughout the whole range of motion as we are performing this exercise. Again, this is an upper back dominant exercise, so you should feel this in your traps right above your lats. Again, very good for posture. Go ahead and rest. Nice job. All right, this might be our most difficult exercise depending on the dumbbells that you have, but we have what's called a plank row. So we're going to go ahead and start with our hands just outside of our shoulders. We're going to go ahead and be grabbing the dumbbells as we're doing this exercise. So we're going to go ahead and be in a plank position, and then we are rowing every rep. So go ahead and put yourself in the nice little plank position. Feel free to have a nice wide stance with your feet. Again, depending on the dumbbells that you have, it might be a little bit more difficult. For instance, I have these kind of like small base ones. If you're not very comfortable with it, you could totally just get into the push-up position, and we can go ahead and just do some shoulder taps if you like. Totally up to you. Got about 10 more seconds. Again, depending on the dumbbells that you have, it could be a little bit unsafe, but try your best. We're going to go ahead and rest now. Again, depending on the dumbbells that you have, they might be better or worse for this exercise. We got one more. We're going to go and be on the ground and perform a loaded dead bug. So go ahead and use your mat. All right, let's go ahead and get into the dead bug position. Have a nice little 90 degrees. Go ahead and grab one dumbbell. All we're doing here is just extending one foot. Again, focusing on good stabilization. Focusing on good breathing mechanics, squeezing your belly button. 3, 2, 1. Good job, everyone. Go ahead and rest. Feel free to grab yourself a nice little sip of water. We're going to go back up to the top and then perform the Russian kettlebell swing again. So set yourself up. Make sure that you are in a good position. Again, focus on keeping your back nice and neutral and really utilizing your leg muscles to perform this exercise. So whenever you're ready, we're going to go ahead and start now. Again, just make sure that you start behind the kettlebell. Again, nice little bending pattern. Go ahead and load your hamstrings. Grab the kettlebell by the handle, tip it on its side. And then we're taking the kettlebell for a nice little ride. Again, we're focusing here on bending. So your hips should go back as you perform this movement. Make sure that your hips do not go down like a squat. Again, elbows can be fully flexed / extended if you like. Go ahead and rest now. That's our 20 seconds. Again, depending on your comfort level, you can have your elbows kind of in this little bent position or locked out. Totally up to you. Then we're going to go and move on to the dumbbell alternating strict press again. Again, targeting here our shoulders. All right, have yourself a nice wide stance, taking the dumbbells to the front rack position. And then we're going to go and alternate every rep. Try your best here to lock out your elbows. And again, have movement quality. Again, your heart rate might be a little bit elevated, but just really focus on bringing that heart rate down. We got about 10 more seconds before we rest and switch. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job, everyone. Go ahead and just let your hands rest. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Next one is our probably easiest one today is the band pull apart. So again, we'll be in that same palms up position. Go ahead and grab yourself your band. The next move will be our plank row. Again, if you need to recover, go ahead and just start out a little bit wide. That way you can kind of recover as you go. And then once you feel pretty good, you can go ahead and bring your hands closer together. That way you have more tension. Again, I like being this palms up position just because we don't really do a lot of external rotation of the shoulder. We're mostly in the internal rotation. Maybe we spend a lot of time on our computer, etc., or bring our neck down. So we really want to focus on opening up our chest and putting our shoulders in the external position. Go ahead and rest now, everyone. All right, we got 2 more movements. Again, the plank row and the loaded dead bug. Again, depending on the dumbbells that you have, it might be a little bit challenging / difficult / unsafe like I have. So feel free to do some shoulder taps if you like. Totally up to you. Clock is on. Again, just make sure that your hands are just outside of your shoulders here so you have a good, nice position. Same thing with your feet. Bring your feet out kind of like a V. And then we're going to go ahead and just row every repetition. I'll do a couple repetitions. Again, these dumbbells are a little unsafe for me. You can do some nice little easy shoulder taps. 3, 2, 1. Nice job, everyone. Go ahead and rest. We got one last exercise in this interval. Again, doing the loaded dead bug. That'll be the very end of our second interval. So we're going to go and utilize our mat again. Feel free to use both the dumbbells if you'd like. Totally up to you. Again, clock is on. Go ahead and push away from your body. Get into that nice little dead bug position. And then focus on getting good extension of our legs. Again, bring some awareness to your low back as well. Try and have your low back, your belly button going through your low back. Try to have it fully immersed on the floor. 3, 2, 1. Nice job, everyone. Go ahead and rest. Again, grab yourself a nice little sip of water if you like. We have one more interval, again, starting with the Russian kettlebell swing. One last exercise or one last set of all this. We got about 5 more seconds. Again, if you feel comfortable, 3, 2, 1, go ahead and work. If you feel comfortable, feel free to take the kettlebell above your forehead or above your head, totally up to you. Nonetheless, just make sure that you have a nice, good, solid position. Make sure you tip it on its side. And again, if you feel really good, feel free to take it above your head if you like to get a little bit more movement here. in our shoulders. Again, if it's just a little bit more difficult for you, just feel free to just take it to your eyes or your chin. Got about 10 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, everyone. We won't need our kettlebell anymore. Great job on that Russian swing. Hopefully you were able to complete some good quality repetitions. Next exercise, again, going to the dumbbell strict press. If you have a heavier set of dumbbells and you want to go ahead and add a knee bend, feel free to do that if you like. Again, clock is on here. Try your best to let your heart rate go down. Again, this is all a strength exercise as we're just focusing on pushing the weight above our head and then controlling the weight down. Got about 10 more seconds before we switch to the easiest one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job, everyone. Going to, again, utilizing our resistance band. Feel free to kind of rest your arms a little bit. Maybe get a nice little sip of water. We got about 10 more seconds. All right. Starting our next movement now. Again, feel free to go a nice wide grip. That way you can recover a little bit. And then maybe as we get closer to that 40-second mark, you can go ahead and bring your hands closer together. Again, this is a nice simple exercise that you can be doing at your desk. Doesn't take very much, a couple sets, 10 to 15 repetitions every couple hours. I think can really go a long way in your posture and in your shoulder health. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job, everyone. We won't be needing our resistance band again. We have 2 more exercises left. Again, that is the plank row and then the loaded dead bug. If being on the ground is kind of uncomfortable for you or utilizing the dumbbells are uncomfortable for you, we can go ahead and just go on the wall and perform a similar exercise. We can go ahead and just kind of lean back on the wall and then just focus here on bringing that row to our rib cage. And again, if you have full autonomy and you have good dumbbells, you can go ahead and perform that exercise again on the ground. Or you could just go ahead and just focus on pushing the wall, as this is a pushing exercise as well. This is probably a little bit more contingent on the dead bug, but you're still performing the pattern somewhat. 3, 2, 1. Good job, everyone. We got one last exercise. We have the loaded dead bug on the ground. We're going to go perform that. Again, you can go ahead and utilize both dumbbells if you like, pushing them away from you, or if you want to go ahead and just grab one, that is also fine. All right, last exercise of our interval, everyone. Go ahead and push the dumbbell away from you. Get into that nice dead bug position. And then again, focus on getting some good extension. And creating some good stabilization in our midline area. Getting some engagement here in our glutes. And trying to bring that belly button to our low back. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and stop the clock now. That is the very end of our strength class. Hopefully you are able to beat the trainer next week. Enjoy the very rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next.